Hey, what is up, lovelies? It's Lynn the Gacha Goblin, and today we're going to go over this video from Chuck KitKat. Now, Chuck KitKat, I'm guessing, has been playing Love and Deepspace for some time now, and they've released a video about their, issues with Love and Deepspace. Now, this isn't going to be a reaction video, because I have already watched this multiple times, because the content in this video feels, one, like misinformation, two, can be very biased against Love and Deepspace, and can easily upset those who aren't open to trying to see things from the other perspective. So this is a very controversial video that has gotten quite a few views since it was posted, and some comments here from people who agree, people who don't agree. So let's go through this together, and I will also share my opinions as well. And I will also say a disclaimer that this video is by no means a way of attacking Kit, because Kit wanted to share their opinions about the game, their constructive criticisms about Love and Deepspace, in order to make the game better, and I completely understand that. What I want to kind of share in return of that is that their experience with LADS kind of stopped in June, and June was right before the 2.0 update with Silas, and they stopped playing after Zane's Myth banner came out. So we'll go over all the things that they've potentially missed or did not know about, that they have very strong opinions about now. This is also a means of talking to players who have also returned to Love and Deepspace after a very long time. This is also a video talking to new players coming into the game who may stumble across this video as well. So again, I'm going to reiterate, this is not an attack on Kit. This is just trying to better explain the game, I guess, in a way that is better, so that it's better informed decisions for people who are watching. That is my intention here. Okay, so let's watch this together.
Here again for another video, and before I start with anything, I would like to wish you all a happy new year and happy 2025. I hope your day has been well so far, and if you're not having a good day, I hope this rant will help you a little. So we are going to start 2025 on a salty note, and I'm going to rant about Love and Deepspace. So if you don't know what Love and Deepspace is, it's basically like a mix of Otome game along with RPG, with you having to wish for the characters in the wish section, and there are also events where you can get points to exchange for.
Okay, first and foremost, we have to get out of the way the biggest elephant in the room. Now, Kit has referred to Love and Deepspace as a mix between Otome and RPG, which is fair. That is a valid point. There are a lot of Otome aspects, and there is also a RPG aspect to this game. However, Love and Deepspace is first and foremost a gacha game, meaning that there are a lot of elements in the game that are not going to follow the Otome or RPG route because it is not profitable for the company. So that is something that I want to say first and foremost before we continue on.
Wish tickets and that you can use to gain memories to battle, and there's also a date section where you can basically play different things with your lover. There's also a story that's designated to you and your lover alone. There are also tender moments, stuff like that. Just your usual Otome game with the RPG where you can fight to level your cards up. So compared to any other Otome game, Love and Deepspace is definitely very easy to understand, very easy to play, because back then, before Love and Deepspace was in the market, as far as I know, I tried Mystic Messenger and Obey Me, and I quit Obey Me almost immediately because the character designs were not very appealing to me. I'm sorry if anyone is a fan of Obey Me, I'm just not a fan. And I've also tried Mystic Messenger, and while I did hear good reviews about it, having to wake up at midnight just to answer the call from the character is quite the hassle if you ask me. So I haven't been playing Otome games for a while, but I have been playing gacha games mixed with RPGs such as Genshin, Wuwa, and HSR. Before those, I've also played Love Live, Bandori, so I will be making a lot of references and comparisons with all these gacha games that I played. Again,
Okay, alright. So this is the first time that she's mentioning gacha games, which is great. So, you know, she's aware that this is a gacha game, and that is perfect. But the fact that she's not, you know, putting that first and foremost as what Love and Deepspace is, also sets the tone for this video. That being said, I guess I should give my background too. I have also played Obey Me. Obey Me and Mystic Messenger were my COVID games that I played. They were my first dip into this like Otome space where you spend more money than you really want to. And I played Obey Me up until a certain point, until I got bored with it and I dropped it. I still have it on my phone. I don't want to delete it because I just have, you know, memories. And then I've also played Mystic Messenger. Mystic Messenger, I've played 2 routes. I played one with oh my god, what's his name? Not Julian. Is it Julian? The CEO boss guy, and 7. I played those 2 routes completely. I followed a walkthrough, and I didn't have to wake up at midnight to follow the calls. I just used the your surplus, what do you call those, like, you know, the currency in the game, because eventually you rack them up if you're very consistent. I had nothing else to do during COVID, so Mystic Messenger felt like I had friends. So that was the 2 games I played. They were both fun at the time. I've also played Genshin Impact. I am planning on going back to it. I've played up until Fontaine. I haven't played Natlan yet. I played HSR, and I've played Wuwa. So that is my background, so I understand where Kit is coming from. I didn't play, what is the other 2 that she mentioned at the end? I didn't play those, but I have some background, so I can, you know, speak to some same level as her on her experience. So that way I'm trying to understand where she's coming from. Play.
And I'm not expecting Love and Deepspace to be like any of these gacha games that I played. I understand that they're all very different games with different things to offer. However, that doesn't negate the fact that I do think that Love and Deepspace has things to improve on so that the experience for the game, for the gamers, will be better. That's all I want to do. Again, this video is not a means to hate on anyone who loves playing this game. I've just gradually lost interest, and today we are not going to focus on the grind because I think that this game is not, even if it's grindy, the grind is not what puts me away from this game. It's really,
which is crazy, because I complain about the grind all the time. The grind is very, very difficult, especially once you get to a higher level. Kit's only 58, level 58. So I don't know how often she was playing this when she was still very active in it. But the grind in the game is very, very difficult for especially a free-to-play player.
really the interface that annoys me. So the first thing I will...
Oh, okay. So she's calling it the interface, but I think what she's actually referring to is the mechanics behind the game, like how the game is actually set up. Because when you talk about interface is how the user interacts with the game, so like all of the buttons and how it looks and whatnot. I don't think that's what she's referring to. I think she's really referring to how the game is set up, as in like what memories do, what the battles do, what the game experience and playthrough feels like. So I think that's what she refers to. If I'm wrong, somebody please do correct me down in the comments. I'm okay with that. But you know, just do it respectfully, guys. Okay.
Would like to talk about is the wishing system. So now they are having a pretty R18
Nightly rendezvous.
R18 wish section, so I'm not gonna display it, but I will be using this screen as an example. So basically in the wish system, you are allowed to obtain any of these characters inside, and I think the annoying thing about this gacha system is that it's not dedicated to one person alone. And the reason why I feel that this is a hassle is because if you look at the battles, if you look at the battle section, where you just want to go inside and fight, you have to allocate your cards according to the type of enemies that you fight. Again, that's very typical of RPG games. We also do that in Genshin and stuff, but the difference is basically for solar, you can only put solar cards. As you can see here, the sun indicates that it's solar, while the moon indicates that it's lunar. So let's say you don't have a 5-star that's solar and you want to use someone else. Let's say you want to use Silas. You are not allowed to do that because this is only for Zane. You know, I've chosen Zane. He's my favorite character. So yeah. And the problem is, if let's say your battle doesn't allow me to use different characters, it doesn't really make sense for the loot boxes to not cater to just one person. So let me elaborate on what I mean. So basically in Love Live School Idol Festival, there are birthday boxes where it's specific to the character. So you basically put in the character, like the UR that you like, the ultra rare that you really want, and then you try your luck to get that 5-star or ultra rare. The difference between that game is that Love and Deepspace is already at a stage where they have a lot of cards, you know, and I don't think that it hurts for them to put a character loot box. You know, the thing is, Love and Deepspace doesn't have a birthday banner as so far, like as much as I know. I do know some games that have birthday banners where it's just the character itself. Like if Love and Deepspace was just starting out, I can understand why they may not have the loot boxes dedicated to the character's birthday. But as you can see here, Zane himself already has more than, I'm not gonna count this, but at least he has, let's say he has 10 cards, alright? Let's say he has 10 cards. Let's say he only has 10 cards with 2 of them being the...
I'm letting her cook. I will. I'm still here. Don't worry. I'm letting her cook, and then I'll intervene later.
5-star. So essentially what this is RPG, you know, RPG, they just want you to spend, and that's why they put in a lot of characters. Genshin does that as well, where if you want to wish for the designated box, you will not you have to fight between getting the character and not getting the character. But as mentioned before, the difference in Genshin is that you are allowed to put the teammate that you have lost into the team. So let's say today, instead of getting Kazuha, you got let's say you got Jean. You know, you can still put Jean in your team and then match her with other characters, but Love and Deepspace doesn't allow that. So I really hope that in the future they will have a wish section that allows you to just have the character, because my issue was when I was trying to get this.
Okay, so this is separate. We'll go over what she just said now. So first and foremost, she says that there is no character loot box. Now, I'm guessing that she's referring to selector. So in the standard banner, that is correct. You don't have a selector. However, you can pull a certain number of times and get a selector crate for a 5-star memory. And that has been incredibly helpful for a lot of players in order to get the cards that they want. And we have, I think, how many do you get? I could be wrong, but I think you can collect up to 4 of those or 5 now. Now that we have the update for the 2.0 update. I could be wrong on that number. Somebody do correct me down below in the comments, but off the top of my head, I think it's 4. So there are ways of getting specific characters in your inventory, I guess you can say. So I know that all of the characters are mixed onto one banner, and I'm going to tell you now, they're never going to separate that standard banner into different banners for specific love interests, because this gacha game is incredibly predatory. I'm not gonna defend this, but this gacha game is incredibly predatory. So even from the beginning of when this game was launched in January 2024, the standard banner was mixed. There was no hope in getting it separated or having a selector, as you call it, where you're aiming for one, like almost like a precise wish. There was nothing like that in Love and Deepspace. You have the selector crates, and that is what you rely on by your number of pulls. Unfortunately, because it's all mixed, you get that sense of FOMO, you get that sense of, I need to wish more on this standard banner even though it's a standard banner, you feel like you have to wish more in order to get those cards that you want. However, there are ways of getting some of the standard cards for not for free, but in return. So for each wish that you put in, you get a crystal, a blue crystal, and you go to the wishing well in the store, and you can exchange that for a 5-star memory. So you can do that. You can also rely on the selectable crates, or you can wait until the Pulse Hunt banner comes out. The Pulse Hunt banner only covers the memories in the standard banner, and that's the only time that you can select 5 of the memories in there that you will get. There is no way of like stopping duplicates. So if you get duplicates, that's on you. But you know, there is the Pulse Hunt banner that you can select only Zane's cards if you only wanted Zane. Next point, there are birthday banners. This is a new game, but it has birthday banners since the beginning of Love and Deepspace. The very first birthday that was celebrated was Raphael's birthday. Now, what I don't quite understand is we're going to eventually go through Kit's what do you call that? Her inventory of like what memory she has, and she eventually shows that she has the Veiled Whispers card, which is from a multi-banner from Raphael. However, I think that memory, did that come before or after Raphael's birthday? I actually don't know. We could check. Hold on. We could go to the Instagram, because I think Instagram actually covers Love and Deepspace on a more linear fashion than Twitter, just because Twitter kind of does all those giveaways and they repost things, so it makes it a little bit more difficult to see what was posted in order. So let's just go to Instagram here, and let's find out when the Veiled Whispers came out, because if Veiled Whispers came out before Raphael's birthday, then Kit should have experienced a birthday. A birthday banner. Not unless she doesn't play regularly during the time that she did play. And that would also explain a little bit later why she feels a certain way about the selector banner. I mean, not selector, the precise wish system. I don't think she knows that the precise wish system exists. So let's just double check this. I don't want to be pulling information out of my booty hole. See, this is the card that she has. In her inventory, she has this card, and this card came before Raphael's birthday. You had a solo banner for Zane, which is one of the spicy cards of Zane's, his very first spicy card. I would think it's spicy. I haven't experienced it yet. But then there's a birthday banner for Raphael. So maybe she stopped playing? I don't know. I don't know if she was a sporadic player. I don't know why she's saying that there were no birthday banners. And it's very, very odd. Very odd. Yeah, so Veiled Whispers came out, and then it was Zane's solo banner that came out, then it was the birthday banner, and then it was another multi-banner. So, very strange to me why she would say that there are no birthday banners in Love and Deepspace. Again, I think it's probably because she was a very sporadic player, which is no fault on her. A lot of us may not be as consistent in playing certain games because we may not be interested in that game at that time. So this is also just a way to inform other people that yes, you can have solo banners for the love interest. Eventually Zane will have one, and then next will be Raphael or Silas or Xavier, so it's not only multi-banners that this game has. If we only had multi-banners, there would be a lot of riots, because people would be like, I need my money. So yeah, I don't understand why she feels the need to make that a very opinionated point here when it's not completely factual. Guys, again, I don't mean to attack Kit. I just don't think she has all the facts, which I'm trying to lay out really nicely here. Okay, continuing on. Well, she's gonna talk about the selector now.
When I was trying to get the card to be only Zane, I'm actually not allowed to do that. So I wasn't allowed to put only Zane. I had to choose like Silas. I had to choose Zane. I had to choose Raphael. And if let's say I didn't get Zane, I get Raphael, I'm forced to play through the route that I don't care about. And I honestly find that.
Alright, this 2 points here. First point, the selector in the multi-banners was changed and revised during the 2.0 update, which Kit unfortunately didn't experience because she stopped playing. She mentions in this video that she stopped playing after she got Zane's myth card, just one, not even the pair. So she got only that myth card, and then she stopped playing, and then Silas came out with the 2.0 update, which they revised the multi-banners where you can have a precise wish system. Now, I'm going to say that, you know, if you're familiar with playing Genshin Impact, you know how the weapon banner was, right? The weapon banner has the epitomized path. The precise wish system is very similar to that. So you have to choose 3 of the cards. Yes, I know that's gonna make you feel like you have to play them, but it is a way for the company to make money. Again, like I said in the beginning of this video, this game is a gacha game, and they're going to make you feel FOMO one way or another. And if you ask me, the precise wish system is an excellent way of finding that in between what the company wants, which is to make money, and what the gamers want, which is to get the card. And at least the precise wish guarantees that you get the card after you lose once. Or you can get lucky and you can still get your card that you selected. So that is the precise wish system. If anybody who is watching this needs more information about the banners and how to pull, I have a video on my channel about all of the banners in Love and Deepspace. I cover the multi-banners, solo banners, myth banners, and the standard banner on there. So if you want more information, check that out. And let's see. Second point. Even if you pull a character that you do not want from a multi-banner, you do not need to play it. There is nothing in the game that is forcing you to play a certain card that you do not want to play through. When I first started playing, I was not interested in any of the other guys besides Zane, and I would end up getting Raphael's card or Xavier's card, and I chose not to watch them because that wasn't what I wanted. So I did not do that. Now I appreciate all the love interest for everything that they give us, so I watch everything now. But when I was naive and I didn't know their stories, I didn't really care about them. And you don't need to either, you know? If you don't want to, you don't need to. The only place where this game is going to force you to go through a certain route is the main story. Now, the main story, we're going to get to this more later, because she does go on a little bit of a rant here about the main story, but she mentions it in this few seconds, how she feels like she's forced to play different routes. You should never feel like you're being forced to play a certain route at all. I will go into that later. Okay, continuing on.
That to be very frustrating, because as much as I know that the developers want to earn my money, forcing me to play through a route that I do not want really sucks. You know, I would rather, let's say I lose the 50-50 for Zane. Let's say he has 3 cards and I get 2 of the same cards, 2 of the same Zane cards. I would rather have that than having a character that I really don't like I don't like Xavier, and I really don't want to get any of his 5 stars. And the thing is, in this game, you're not allowed to sacrifice. Like, let's say I don't want Xavier cards, I'm probably not allowed to sell them away for points. So in Love Life, let's say you do not like, let's say I don't like this 5-star card, I'm allowed to sell them off for points so that I can idolize other characters or get their limited shop characters, which I honestly think would be so much better of an incentive than having me have this Raphael 5-star card that I can't even sell off. It's just sitting here right now at level 20 because I really don't care about.
Oh, see, that was the Veiled Whispers card that I was showing you guys earlier. But actually, you know what? I kind of agree with this point that she makes. If you don't like a certain love interest and you can recycle that card for like shards to get a different card of your choice, that would be really cool. I actually would really like that. Imagine that was how they were going to bring in reruns into the game. That would be awesome. So this point I actually really do love, and I hope that Love and Deepspace maybe considers it when they're going to plan to do reruns in the future.
5-star card that I can't even sell off. It's just sitting here right now at level 20 because I really don't care about the other characters. And that brings me to the next point, which is the story. So as much as I do think that the story of Love and Deepspace is really good, I find it to be relatively confusing because in Genshin Impact and Wuhua HSR, I'm just gonna say Genshin, but I'm referring to all of them as well. So in Genshin, you are the traveler trying to find your sister, and as you traverse from Mondstadt to Liyue, you have to finish whatever quests that the nation requires you to before you can proceed to the story in Liyue. So while you can explore Liyue before you finish the story by running or swimming, in terms of the story, you have to finish Mondstadt's story quest before you move on to Liyue. However, in this story, you basically have different worlds where you meet different guys, but I'm not actually sure whether the guys know each other, because in Genshin Impact, the characters have actually heard about other nations as well. So even if let's say the traveler has no idea what Snezhnaya is before he dawns upon Teyvat, the characters in Teyvat would know that there's such thing as Snezhnaya. You know, it's like how, let's say, an alien comes on Earth today, they don't know that Japan exists. The inhabitants of the Earth would know that Japan exists. No, but in this game, I have no idea whether this is the case. And I do think that the choices, fiction...
Alright, before we get into the choices tirade, let's discuss the story. The story of Love and Deepspace follows a singular timeline. Well, that is what we suspect. There is a lot of time travel. There is a lot of talk about possible, times that the love interests meet each other. So you have, say, for example, Xavier's myth memory. Yeah, actually, let's go with Zane's, because you like Zane and you have both of his myth memory cards. So I'm guessing that you're kind of confused why his myth memory is talking about the Foreseer and, all of those things. That is from a different time, possibly in the future, past Earth. So, you know how in the story you have Earth, then there's a deep space tunnel, and at the very end of the deep space tunnel, there is another planet that they see that is called Philos. So the deep space tunnel is a time, almost like a black hole that transverses time. So what Earth is looking at Philos is Earth's future. Philos is the Earth after it's been destroyed and is being held together by an artificial protocore. That already tells you that there is a lot of time travel in this game itself. Xavier is a person from Philos who went back in time to try and save the MC, and that is a romantic story, which, if you gave it a chance, you might actually learn Xavier's backstory and you might be interested in him. That's what happened to me. So that is the timeline and the explanation of how Love and Deepspace works. If you want a little bit more explanation on that, I have a video on my channel where I go over the timeline up until up until Silas's release of his myth memory. So that is covering all of 2024. At the end of 2025, I'm probably going to update that timeline so that way it's a little bit more consistent then. But that is pretty much the story of Love and Deepspace. Now, let's talk about the main story itself. The main story is kind of like your prerequisite story that you have to go through in every Otome game. where it's basically just the no romance, no path that you're choosing, you're interacting with all the guys, and that is your baseline understanding of Love and Deepspace. The memories on the side are your chosen paths. So in regular Otome games, after you do the prerequisite story, you'll interact with certain love interests, right? And you'll eventually gear towards a certain love interest and a certain ending. However, if Love and Deepspace does that, Love and Deepspace will lose money, because that would mean that the game will come to an end, and that would also mean that you cannot force people into pulling more in the gacha if there is a set storyline already for all of the characters in the main story. So what they did was they separated the main story and the paths into the memories that you would pull for in the gacha. That incentivizes people to pull in the gacha, because you're pulling for experiences and you're pulling for memories with the love interest that you choose. Whether you pull on a multi-banner, whether you pull on a solo banner, it is what people pay for. And that is actually a brilliant idea by Love and Deepspace that I haven't seen done in another gacha game. So that is also an explanation for a future part in this video where you're having a little rant. But let's hear what you have to say about choices.
Choices that doesn't affect the story genuinely annoys me, because if you want me to play a character, like you want me to play a story with 4 different characters that may or may not even know each other, it's just a turn off. Because I would rather the story be, let's say today I'm going to their nations. I have no idea what their nation is called, but let's just say they're in Fontaine, alright? I would rather their...
This video is getting a little long, so I'm just gonna speed up her audio a little bit. Sorry if this makes it a little bit more difficult to understand her, but we're just gonna speed it up a smidge, guys, okay?
Story be where you traverse the Fontaine with Zane, and then you just play a story route, and then depending on the choices that you make, it depends, like it actually affects whether or not you and Zane get into a relationship. And even if, let's say, you chose the route that you don't get the relationship with Zane, you are just kind of allowed to restart again, so that you can go the route where you play the game again. So essentially, you can restart once you reach the end. And this is actually very similar to a game that I played named Choices, where you basically have to choose the choice that will affect the character that you meet. So I was playing this game named The Royal Romance, where you basically meet this really handsome prince. And depending on whatever choice you have, like whatever choice you get, it affects whether or not the queen approves of you being able to marry him. And eventually, as a free-to-play player that had to grind my way to get diamonds, I was still able to complete not 1 book, but like at least 3 different books of this story, and even being able to play a chapter of the story that's not related to the Royal Romance. So before the Royal Romance book 1, there's also a prerequisite story. I would call it a prequel, and it was pretty cool because whatever choice you make actually makes a difference in the story. And even if, let's say, you aren't able to choose the premium choice by watching ads, logging in every day, buying with real money, you'll still essentially be able to finish the story, just not with the desired outcome. And I would honestly rather Love and Deepspace be like this than whatever they're doing right now, because oh my goodness, I cannot stress enough how much I hate it when a story gives me a fake option only for it not to affect the story. Like,
Okay, so this is the part where I'm a little I guess you could say upset about this opinion here, because if you play, I guess, you're only talking about Otome games, but because you mentioned that you played Genshin, and because you mentioned, you play HSR and Lua, all those games give you fake choices, and all your choices in those games don't matter. If you're talking only about Otome games, this is not that kind of Otome game, and I'm very sorry to tell you this, but it's not going to change. And I'm pretty sure that is why you're probably not going to continue playing Love and Deepspace, which is okay. That is alright. But for anybody listening out there that is wanting, choices to matter in this game, I am very sorry, but your choices will not matter. Whatever choice you make, whatever option that you choose here will not affect the ending of the story, because in this gacha game in particular, I don't think we're going to see the end of Love and Deepspace for a very, very, very long time, because the company is going to want to make as much money as possible through Love and Deepspace by monetizing off of us. And how are they going to do that? By roping us into pulling on the gacha. And that is why choices in gacha games don't really matter. That is why choices in games like Genshin or Wuwa or HSR don't really matter. They just add flavor to what you hope your MC has in their personality, but it doesn't really add any content to the relationships between other characters, if that makes any sense. So yeah, I'm sorry about that.
If whatever choice is not going to affect the aim of the story, why the heck am I given a choice? You know, it's like in life, you are given choices, and whatever choices you make actually affects the life that you move forward. But then in this game, it's not how it is. You know, I could just choose, let's say I tap on Zane, I could just say, you know, oh, there's a sparrow in your head, you know, that kind of thing, and it doesn't change anything. But it just doesn't change anything. And I would rather, like, that's why I believe that choices is genuinely so much better of a game when it comes to interactive experiences, because while not being able to go to the bathtub to get intimacy points with the prince, I was still able to play rock, paper, scissors with him, which was still more fun than like, oh yeah, let's play rock, paper, scissors, but then whatever outcome I choose is still the freaking damn same. Like, so Love and Deepspace, please improve your interface. And I just really want a story where it's streamlined and I can focus on just one guy. Like, I genuinely don't care about Xavier, and I feel that the story is just very repetitive. Like, oh, this guy sacrificed for you, that guy sacrificed for you, that other guy also sacrificed for you, but there's not much of a difference. It's not like...
This part really hurt me too, guys. The way she says it is so cold, because like I know how these guys sacrifice for all of us, and it's just so sad. It's just so it's so sad, and I really want her to like experience all of the pain, especially like Silas's myth memory that we just experienced. Yes, he sacrificed for us again, but it was so painful. The angst was beautiful. Oh man, and all the angst of all of the guys is just, it's so good. Xavier's is out of this world on a different level, because he's just been hoping and waiting for hundreds and hundreds of years. Guys, it's sad. It's sad. Oh.
If I were to be with Xavier, whatever choice I make actually affects my future. If I were to choose Zane, whatever story that I play with him actually affects my future. Because in games like choices, you can choose whether or not to flirt with those people that you met, or just be downright like super mean to them. And I would rather this game be like this, where I can express a disinterest in the character than forced to show interest in the character. Because I'll be honest, I will not date Xavier, Raphael, or Silas. Like, I just feel like this game is filled with hot men, but hot men with no personality whatsoever. Like,
and that line too, it's just like back to back to back. It's so heartless. It's so mean. But like, I understand where she's coming from, because she hasn't experienced much of the game, to be honest.
when I play Genshin Impact, I was so absorbed with Albedo that he just obliterated all my interest in any other game, because that's how much he affected me as a person when it comes to playing games and liking characters. But that will be another video for another day, another time. So yeah, like Zane is the only person that I feel that I really have a deep connection with. So having to level up my intimacy points with the character that I don't care about genuinely sucks. Like, I just want my Zane to be at level 50 and everyone else to be at level 1. But then in this game, if I were to wish, I will get the other 4. I would be getting the other 3 guys that I don't care about. So yeah, that is what is stopping me from playing the game. Like, if I were to play this game and they give me like limited choice events where if I don't play the event, I won't be able to get the shirt of Zane, kind of sucks. But I would rather go that where I can just focus on Zane alone than like, oh, there's a Raphael card coming up and then Zane is inside. Cool, yeah, and that's why I just gave up wishing. So do let me know what you think about all this, and yeah, I hope you enjoyed seeing Zane right here resting. And oh my goodness, alright, the last thing I want to add about the events as well. So I also have the issue with these events, because let's say today I need to earn points to get like the wishing tickets, but then because I have to dedicate myself to the other guys in this game, I'm forced to play all these games with them inside. And I would rather just, let's say I have to play another 2 to 3 times with Zane, you know, like the whole thing. I would rather just repeat the whole process than having to play with the other guys. You know, it's just such a pain, and I just don't feel interested in this game anymore. I mean, again, like I said, I'm not saying that people can't play this game. They can, they're allowed to love it, but I just don't care about it, and I don't have a reason to care about it. And I know people are going to say, but kid, you're just not dedicated to the game, you never didn't play through the whole thing. And I'm gonna stress that if the...
What? You know what? This is the first time I've watched with subtitles. You just not dedicated to the game and you didn't play through the whole thing. I'm just going to stress that if the... What?
game doesn't captivate me, I have no interest. I do not obligate. I'm not obligated to play the game that I don't like. No, I played Love and Deepspace up until level 58, so I have the rights to talk about what I want about this game. And yeah, I'm just so happy I got this Bamboo Zane 5-star card. It was the last card before I quit this game. So yeah, until
the last card before she quit the game. And there were so many updates that came after this specific banner. It's really sad, guys, but yeah, I mean, if you ask me, level 58 is pretty easy to get to as a free-to-play player. It's just the amount of time and dedication that you want to put into the game. If you're a daily gamer, you'll get to this level pretty quickly, to be honest. Yeah, it's after level 65 that I would say that it gets really difficult in terms of grind and in terms of leveling up certain cards, and all of her cards are like level 57, 50, 40. Once you get to level 60 and trying to move it up to level 70, it gets incredibly difficult, and the grind is so long if you're a free-to-play player. So that is my opinion on this whole video. I really hope that people who are listening can understand that, you know, there is the opinion of those who have limited experience in the game and hasn't really explored it as far as they could have to have a better, well-rounded thought process on the game and its possible improvements. I really did like that idea though of recycling cards for different memories, but everything else was a little bit off, and I just wanted to clear it up, not in a way of attacking Kit, but kind of just, you know, friendly sharing information so that way no misinformation gets spread about Love and Deepspace. Alright, well, if you have any other points and tips for people who are like Kit and who are, you know, coming back to Love and Deepspace after a very, very long time, please leave it down in the comments below. And yeah, that is pretty much it. Thank you all so much for listening, and for being open-minded. I'm Lynn, the Gacha Goblin, and I will see you lovelies in the next video. Bye now!